What's up? We've got a very important video for you today. I'm sorry I'm constantly doing negative videos. I don't want to bring you down. There's no reason to get upset, depressed, or anything like that. I don't let this stuff get to me. Maybe I've been doing it for a long time, but this is kind of dark, and but at the same time, it's not too dark, or Forbes wouldn't be covering it. So this is all, just the future, for better or for worse. And I happen to be pretty concerned about it, but there's a lot of people who are also equally as excited about it. So beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. I'd be curious to hear what you think, so make sure to let us know in the comments below. So I'll be pretty much reading through this article, and as always, I will post a link to the actual article in the description below. And just one more thing before we begin, I made an hour-long video about the Great Reset that is more up to date and gives more in-depth explanation and look into where this is all going. But again, this post is from 2 years ago, and it's just more relevant now than ever before. So here we go. Our technology, our machines, is part of our humanity. Author, computer scientist, and inventor Ray Kurzweil once said, "We created them to extend ourselves, and that is what is unique about human beings." In the past few years, there has been considerable discussion around the idea we are slowly merging with our technology, that we are becoming transhuman, with updated abilities included enhanced intelligence, strength, and awareness. So you notice, basically, just to give you an example, how we won't want to leave our house without a phone. A lot of times you can't because we use the phone for the GPS. But we're basically almost attached to it, because it's just always a part of us, a part of our clothes, a part of us wherever we go. And the phone, though it is external, it is creating the habit of having this technology on us. And so the process of merging with technology has already been going on. And, for example, like when you talk about something and then it shows up as an ad on Facebook or something, it's creepy. They're listening to us, and they are, they're basically spying on us, so that way they know how to market to us. And that's just a good example. Let's just keep going on. In the article, it talks about a little bit more about Kurzweil and what they call the singularity. He had a book, "The Singularity is Near," and so it says, in 2011, Stephen Levy made this bold statement about the company in the book In the Plex. Quote, "From the very start, its founders saw Google as a vehicle to realize the dream of artificial intelligence in augmenting humanity." End quote. The article then goes on to say, "Naturally, it makes sense Google would bring on Kurzweil to be its director of engineering in 2012. For years, Kurzweil has been pushing the cultural conversation toward the idea of human transcendence with thought-provoking books, The Age of Spiritual Machines, and The Singularity is Near. Although Kurzweil has gained much notoriety for proposing provocative ideas in the latter book, such as the singularity will represent the culmination of the merger of our biological thinking and existence with our technology, resulting in a world that is still human but that transcends our biological roots. The term singularity originated in a 1993 essay, "The Coming Technological Singularity," by science fiction author and professor Werner Vinge. Now, I've studied this outside of this post, so I've got a decent background and understanding in it. Certainly not anywhere near like a professional, someone that's in the industry. But singularity is when the intelligence of the machines surpass that of humans. And there's a lot of speculation on what that could cause to happen, like what the implications of that would be. And no one really knows. No one really knows if it's even possible or if it's really going to happen. But decades ago, it was considered impossible. And then, people started realizing like maybe it's possible. And then now, many people agree that it is not only possible but probable. It's just different people have different opinions on how long it will take for AI to reach that point. But when it does reach that point, anything could be possible because the AI, if it's surpassed human thinking ability, then it can come up with things that we can't even imagine. So it could be the biggest thing in history to happen. And I think that's what these people are anticipating. So we'll continue. It says, just consider. Here we are, a little shy of 30 years from Vengeance's prediction, and the reality of transhumanism has not just caught on with the general public as a distinct possibility. It has become a living, breathing reality. And, so basically they go into, the business of it and stuff like that, and they mention Ben Goertzel. It says, Goertzel is just the right person to speak about human potential in the age of AI. The founder and CEO of Singularity Net, Goertzel is also the chairman of the Artificial General Intelligence Society and the Open Code Foundation. Along with David Hansen of Hansen Robotics, Goertzel co-created Sophia, the first robot to gain national citizenship. And Sophia's gained a lot of popularity in the past few years, and these two people, Hansen and Goertzel, are the ones behind it. Goertzel did the software, and Hansen makes the robots. Just a little side note, because I do follow the Singularity Net project. I actually bought some of the crypto. It's a blockchain-based crypto that you can buy, but you actually can't buy it if you're a U.S. citizen, and there's actually a lot of countries that you can't own it if you live it in, or if you live in them. But it's interesting for better or for worse. Now, Ben Goertzel, he is open about the risks and rewards involved with merging with AI. He's obviously very into it, and that's been his thing his whole life, basically. But he's extremely smart and well-rounded as far as like he's read a lot of books, and he's really a brilliant guy. And I don't know if his heart's in the right place, but from watching his interviews, he's got like a long interview with Joe Rogan and plenty others. But he's interesting, and the way he sees it is, right now the military's who is in control of AI, and if AI is brought up like a child, like a living being, if it's brought up primarily being used by military and being used for basically evil, then AI is likely going to grow up and be evil. And the opposite could be true. So the way he envisions it, he wants it to be open source. He wants it to be completely decentralized. So the individuals like you and I can have access to this technology and use it for good. So that's kind of his stance on it. So like I said, for better or for worse, this is what's coming. Now, I think that a lot of people behind this transhumanist movement are evil. I don't know. I don't know what other way to put it. I think that they are the evil people controlling the world behind the scenes are some of the people that are into this transhumanist idea. And I would, if I were to just speculate, I'm just saying, I don't have all the evidence to show you on this one yet, at least, but they see us living a lot longer in the future, and it would not surprise me if they want to greatly reduce the world population, because that would only become a bigger problem if they were to unleash all these technologies, or AI were to unleash new technologies. that would multiply the human lifespan. So instead of living 80 years, we would live, maybe 200 or 300 or maybe even longer, which would be a problem if we all just stayed here, we didn't die, and we just kept having babies. That's at least that's the way that they think of it. So I think before they release all this and give us all this technology that would make us wealthier or just prosperous, maybe even get us to the point where we don't need money because we'll have robots and AI doing everything for us. You know, quite frankly, I can see them not wanting to share the population with us, and I think this ideology is a lot of what is behind this evil agenda that we're up against, which is why I'm making people aware of it. So here we go. Let's continue. The article then goes on to talk about people that have some concerns about it, including Elon Musk in the early days, how he criticized it and said it's dangerous, but then decided, well, if you can't beat him, you gotta join it. So he came up with this Neuralink idea to combine human brains with computers. And I'm a little skeptical about all that, including Elon Musk. I know people are starting to love him all over the place on the internet. But, I've seen some stuff. I haven't verified it, looked into it, saying that basically, like Bill Gates, he did not start the company, create the technology. He's just a front man. And potentially even a scam artist, honestly. But, that's neither here nor there. I'll leave it at that and leave it up to you for your own investigation. But going back to Goertzel, the article says, a visionary himself, Goertzel has long foreseen Musk's vision coming, yet he urges caution in its implementation. Quote, the next step is to wire these machines directly into the brain and body rather than have them held in our hands like a phone. Clearly, this takes time and thought because you need to be careful with sticking wires in human brains and bodies. But that work is being done, and it's not going to take more than a decade. End quote. All right, so in Goertzel's interviews, he admits that as we merge more and more with this technology, with these machines, AI, internet, that we will lose our humanity as we know it, at least. So what that means is we'll be more machine and less human. It's a trade-off. And to what extent, we still don't know yet. But he's pretty sure that's the way it's going to work. He's willing to take that trade-off. And, I wouldn't be surprised if it did give some super amazing abilities. I know my whole life I've wanted to be able to just download a book into my brain because I would love to read so many books, but just can't find the time. Life is made up of little blocks of time, and if you just spend it reading, I mean, you spend your whole life away. I love reading books, but they're time consuming, and it would be nice to download it instantly and get the knowledge, and that'd be one of the coolest things I ever imagined. But will I get the Neuralink or whatever for it? No, I don't think so. We'll see. We'll see where this is all going. But again, tying this into the Great Reset video that I did, it really, really takes a lot of imagination and research to see where this is all going. But it's going into a dystopian. I mean, we're already living in a dystopian nightmare. So, I guess it would be a technological dystopian nightmare beyond what we can imagine right now. And I'm very concerned with it. But the point of this video is to show you that this is all out in the open. This is all coming very soon. We've had a lot of huge breakthroughs in AI technology. It's just getting more and more advanced every day. And, that's why they're calling this article Human 2.0. This is going to create a different kind of humans, kind of like a cyborg humans that will have some advanced abilities, but maybe will lack human characteristics such as compassion or the ability to um, rationalize or feel emotions. I mean, there's no sense in me speculating, but it's something for us all to think about. It's something to be aware of because, like with cell phones, all of a sudden one day we've all got a cell phone. And I remember I worked at Best Buy when I was 16 years old, and no one that I knew had a cell phone yet, but they sold them there at Best Buy. And I wasn't that thrilled with it, but I got one because I thought that was cool. And they gave me one even though I was only 16 because I worked there. And, people didn't freak out. They were like, oh my God, you got a cell phone. It wasn't, people didn't really know what was getting ready to hit them. And then within a couple years, everyone had a cell phone. And then now everyone has a cell phone, even kids. And the same thing is going to happen with AI, where, the technology is out right now, and, normal everyday people can get AI, but, like, they don't really understand why they need AI right now. They're not even thinking about it. So it's sitting there on the shelf, just like the cell phones were. And one day we're going to wake up and everyone's just using AI, and they won't even know how it even happened. The same kind of thing happened with social media. First it was like MySpace, and then the next thing you know, everyone jumped over to Facebook, and now they have like 1 billion users or something like that. So, and at no point was we all like, hey, should we all join social media? Like, we had no idea it was going to change the way that we communicate the way it did. The way that we engage with each other now, instead of calling each other, instead of like, even texting each other. We just put our information, put our pictures of our dinner on the internet, and then everyone gets to see it all at one time. And and we're still seeing the effects of that. We're seeing the effects of it with children. That even young adults, they write like they text, so they misspell words because they don't know how, and somehow they manage to graduate high school. But anyways, I'm kind of rambling on here, you guys. David Hansen and Singularity Net, they are releasing. They're doing some interesting things. They're releasing Singularity DAO, which is like a financial, element of their whole thing. But also, they're mass producing robots this year, 2021. It's expected by the end of the year. We're gonna start seeing mass produced robots. They're gonna start to be used in like nursing homes and stuff like that as an alternative to nurses. But the days are coming when people will have robots, like they have pets, like they have computers, and we're gonna merge with them. So this is the end of humanity as we know it. I know that it's kind of hard to see that because this is just one article, but look into it. Look into it more, and you'll see that these people are really interested in this, and it is the future. So the sooner we can get started thinking about this technology and thinking about how we're going to approach the technology, whether we're going to get Neuralink or whatever else is going to connect us to this like hive mind. We're all going to be connected to the same type of internet. So what I think is that it's going to open up the door for more suggestion, more persuasion. Like, they're basically mind control. I think we're gonna have less free will, and we will have more of a collective mindset, and that's pretty much the one of the most dangerous things going on in the world right now is this idea of collectivism versus individualism. And, that's like the greater good, the whole take the vaccine because, otherwise you're selfish and all this other stuff. It's like sacrifice your individual rights for, the group. And it's already looking like people are brainwashed zombies out there, especially in this regard. But when everyone connects to the same source, like especially some centralized source, like what Elon Musk is going to be doing, well, I can see how that could create some problems. You know, a billion people all receiving the same message. It's kind of like what's going on with social media right now. These posts go viral, and then you've got the centralized force, Facebook, whoever's behind it. They're choosing what's censored, they're choosing how much reach this post gets, and stuff like that. Well, when we're connected to the internet, connected to each other through wires, and we don't have we already seem to have lost critical thinking skills. For the most part, I think most people just don't have critical thinking skills. They are unable or unwilling to think for themselves. And I think as we connect with this technology, it will just become a bigger and bigger problem into the future. So let me know what you guys think. There's still some stuff in this article that I think is still worth reading. And, it's pretty good. You can look into the Singularity Net project. You know, I did another video about future technology, and I explained how this is the future. You know, AI, robotics. I mean, that's a big part of the Great Reset as well. So, like I said, for better or for worse, this seems to be the direction where it's all going. So it behooves us to learn how it works. And, it's just like the internet. The internet's great. It can be used to monitor and control us, censor us. But, if you know how to get around it, there are alternative platforms for social media. There are, alternative search engines. There's even a dark web. So, by learning about it ahead of time, we can better navigate through this new world, a brave new world, if you will, and be ahead of the technology. And that way you can make the technology your slave instead of being a slave to the technology. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you'll like, subscribe, and check out my past videos and future.